Old-fashioned bedroom layouts, they trapped warmth better than modern homes ever could. These days, modern homes rely mostly on systems, but back then, older homes really depended on layout. That difference honestly matters more than most people realize. For centuries, people managed to sleep warm in unheated rooms, stone houses, drafty farmhouses, and in cold climates, without electricity, gas, or any sort of central heat. They did it, not with comfort products, but with deliberate bedroom design. What we've lost isn't just technology. We've actually lost the knowledge of how space, materials and placement all work together to conserve body heat. This guide, it breaks down the bedroom layouts that consistently kept people warm and shows how those same principles can still be applied today. Beds were positioned to minimize exposure, not to maximize symmetry. In older homes, you'd rarely find beds centered in a room. Instead, they were placed where heat loss was at its lowest. The most common position, honestly, was against an interior wall, never an exterior one, if it could be avoided. Exterior walls, you see, bled cold through stone, brick, or thin timber. Interior walls, on the other hand, benefited from shared heat between rooms. When an exterior wall was unavoidable, beds were pulled several inches away to prevent cold transfer, creating a dead air space that slowed heat loss. Today, this same principle still applies in apartments and houses alike. If your bed is against an outside wall, pulling it even 6 to 9 inches forward and placing a heavy textile behind it, that reduces radiant heat loss overnight. Sleeping spaces were deliberately reduced in size to concentrate warmth. Large bedrooms are a modern luxury that actually works against warmth. Older homes often treated sleeping as a contained activity. Beds were tucked into alcoves, corners, or partially enclosed spaces. In a modern setting, this can be recreated by positioning wardrobes, bookcases, or fabric dividers to create a smaller sleeping envelope around the bed. The goal here is not privacy, but really thermal containment. Ceilings were lowered visually and functionally around the bed. Hot air rises, and older builders understood this without ever using the phrase. Bedrooms often had lower ceilings than common areas, or canopy structures were used to trap warm air where the sleeper needed it. This doesn't require expensive materials. Dense cotton, wool blends, or even just layered fabric will hold warmth far better than synthetics designed for airflow. Textiles were layered strategically rather than decoratively. Older bedrooms used textiles with intent. Rugs weren't placed for style, they were placed where feet hit cold floors. Wall hangings weren't art, they were insulation. Heavy drapes were hung floor to ceiling, even in bedrooms with small windows. These textiles created thermal breaks, stopping cold air movement and radiant loss. In modern homes, thin curtains and bare walls undo this advantage. Replacing light curtains with insulated blackout drapes and adding even one textile-covered wall behind the bed can noticeably increase overnight warmth without increasing room temperature. Furniture placement was used to block drafts and create thermal mass. Dressers, chests and wardrobes were often placed against exterior walls, acting as buffers between the cold surface and the sleeping area. Solid wood furniture absorbs and releases heat slowly, stabilizing temperature fluctuations. This is why bedrooms with older furniture often feel warmer than minimalist rooms with open wall space. Applying this today means using dense furniture as part of the thermal strategy, not pushing everything away to open up the room. A filled bookcase against an exterior wall behind the bed provides both insulation and thermal stability. Windows were treated as controlled weaknesses, not focal points. Older bedroom layouts never centered beds beneath windows. Windows were known cold sources. Beds were offset, shielded by curtains, shutters, or furniture. When windows were present, layered treatments were used. Shutters or boards, followed by fabric, followed by another fabric layer. In modern homes, placing the bed directly under a window invites heat loss through convection and radiation. Shifting the bed to a side wall and treating the window with layered curtains, even temporarily at night, recreates the old method without permanent changes. Floor contact was minimized to prevent cold transfer. Cold floors sap heat relentlessly. Older homes address this with raised beds, thick rugs, and layered floor coverings. Beds sat higher, allowing air circulation beneath while preventing direct contact with cold surfaces. Today, platform beds placed directly on concrete or tile floors reverse this advantage. Raising the bed frame and placing dense rugs or layered mats beneath and around the bed restores a key historical advantage with minimal effort. Shared heat sources were intentionally aligned with sleeping spaces. In homes with fireplaces or stoves, bedrooms were often placed above or adjacent to these heat sources. Chimney walls retained warmth long after fires burned out. Beds were positioned near these warm masonry masses. In modern homes, this concept translates to placing beds near heat-retaining walls or areas that receive residual warmth from daytime activity. Avoid placing beds near unused exterior corners while leaving warm interior zones empty. Nighttime heat retention was always prioritized over daytime aesthetics, you know. Older bedrooms were really designed with sleep in mind, first and foremost. Daytime appearance, well, that just mattered far less than nighttime comfort. Curtains were drawn early, doors were closed to contain the heat, and airflow was, honestly, controlled rather than encouraged. In modern living, the obsession with open-plan airflow actually undermines nighttime warmth. Closing bedroom doors at night, sealing gaps, and treating the bedroom as a contained thermal unit. Well, that aligns directly with historical practice. Applying these layouts today doesn't require historic homes or antique furniture, not at all. The effectiveness of these methods lies in principles, not period architecture. A modern apartment can adopt these layouts by simply repositioning the bed, reducing exposed surfaces, adding layered textiles, and, of course, controlling airflow. Even renters can apply these changes without any structural modifications. The goal here is to stop heat from escaping faster than the body can produce it. Old-fashioned bedroom layouts worked because they respected physics, materials, and human biology. They didn't just fight cold with systems alone. Instead, they shaped space to work with the body, not against it. And for preppers, survivalists, and historians alike, this knowledge isn't just nostalgic. It's practical, repeatable, and resilient in any grid-down or energy-limited scenario. If this guide added real value to your understanding of historical living systems, go ahead and subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles for more documented practical knowledge that still applies today. And, well, share this with others who care about real-world preparedness and forgotten skills worth reviving.